computer is a musical instrument like any other, like a guitar, like a piano.
Instead of playing an instrument that has a set type of tone, suddenly you're able to play any sound ever.
It really requires to not be afraid of the technical aspects of things and to just be able to figure things out on your own.
I like the fact that I can work just in a laptop. And you see a computer, you don't look at it like a musical instrument. You have everything you need at your disposal pretty much inside the box.
You have to be really open and ready to try new things and learn new things and think about music in different ways and really expand your concept of what music is. I actually started playing cello when I was about 10 or 11, I think. I switched to guitar because it has a lot of what I love about cello, but it's a more modern instrument and you can do a lot more modern sounding things with it.
I started out when I was about in 6th grade, I think. Started piano for 3 years. I'm from Israel. I had to go to the army. I started playing guitar, just grab a guitar and just played on my own for 6 years. And then after the army I went to music school, and there I got really into computer music and laptop and DAWs, digital audio workstation, and sequencers and everything that comes with it.
I started playing violin when I was 5 and just immediately dived into private lessons and playing classical music and being in orchestras and things like that. I never really felt like I fit in, I guess, with the traditional classical program, just because I was into all these different types of music and I was just searching for something else, and I really didn't enjoy practicing sheet music for hours a day.
My mom bought me this Casio keyboard, a Casio SK1, and the cool thing about that keyboard is it had a sampler on it. I would play my tapes twice as fast, so I'd have twice as much sampling time, and I'd make these little loops. Then I ended up getting into the alto and tenor saxophone in school.
I was always a big tapper in school. I was always like practicing doing these crazy rolls, and I'm all like doing these drum solos with my fingers. I was able to apply that to MIDI controller, I think. When I was a kid, I never really liked team sports, but then I got really into skateboarding because to me it was like finally I didn't have to have a bunch of team members that were affecting how I was playing, and so it was just me and my my quest. And I think that applies to music too. It's when I just played guitar, it was like, oh, if I want to do this and really do something with it, I have to form a band. I'm still, I'm pro band, but the work of getting together, 3 or 4 other people who I completely flowed with, and then setting up a practice time, and then, not pissing each other off, and all wanting to make the same type of music. These are like a bunch of things that were really getting in my way.
When I started, working a lot with computers and software, it felt like, oh, this isn't really music. Like, I'm spending all this time like this, trying to make this computer do this thing so that when I hit this button, something cool happens, I've just kind of let go of a lot of that and decided, I'm gonna learn how to program, I'm gonna learn interface design, I'm gonna learn circuit design, and I just kind of dabble in all these little different things, but to me they open up this whole new world of I can play instruments that have never existed before, I can design instruments that have never existed before. Here has all my max patches that make the Mojo do its magic. This is the live guitar track here. It's got all my guitar effects. I got 2 tracks for vocals. One is just the straight vocal, and then one controls some harmonies. These blue ones here are for drums. These orange ones are for bass. So no matter what I'm singing, I have these amazing vocalists behind me, and it's pretty cool.
soul to harmonize with robots. Yeah.
I use old video game controllers, Dreamcast arcade stick, a power glove, and a small keyboard and a mono-me. So basically it's me with my own playground, let's call it, that I build it, I program to do whatever I want in the live show and just have fun with it. It's not as easy as it seems. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of experience, understanding what you're doing. It's a lot of subjects to know. It's not only how to operate the software, it's also sound design and what exactly is digital audio and how you can treat it, and music theory, and a lot of things. You need to really want it.
Love adding acoustic instruments and vocals and things like that as much as possible. It adds another dimension to the music. Every time I sort of get to know another piece of equipment, it definitely changes the way that I write music. Having more knobs and faders and things like that gives me the ability to sort of be more hands-on with the effects and automation and things like that within my productions.
Every time I press something, people are going to hear something different happening. Whether it's a different effect, me triggering a different sound, filtering something in or whatever. People pay to see you perform. And typically when I perform, I'm holding it out kind of like this, and I'm, playing it more like an instrument. I try to stand away from the computer, just treat it more like it's a performance. It doesn't look like I'm tethered to my laptop necessarily. People should know that you're really putting in some effort and work, and you're making it more than just pressing play.
Throughout the years, I felt like I've had to prove myself, so to speak. Playing shows, and guys don't think that, I know how to set up gear. Sometimes on these big tours that I've been on, at first they'll be like, really, you're the programmer, you're the person behind all this stuff, and then they'll just be shocked. Back in the day when I was first starting out, I wasn't very confident, so it's no wonder people didn't take me seriously.
When I started performing solo as a controllerist, it was really tough to find an audience. It was really tough not to be ignored, and it was tough to find a venue, a platform to do any of what I was doing. It's easy if you're a band to go play with the other bands. It's easy if you're a DJ to go to those kind of venues and do that, but I felt like I was in this gray area in between.
A lot of times, especially more of the older people, they need to see exactly what I'm doing in order to understand what kind of skill it requires for me. Because the only thing that I want to prove to people when I say I'm a musician is, listen, I'm not just sitting in my room all day jerking off. I'm actually doing stuff. It demands a lot of you mentally and physically. People usually don't understand or have misperceptions about electronic musicians.
I had, a daughter very young, 19, I was a dad already, and her mom already, was kind of like, already had a degree and was already kind of moving on in her career and sort of knew what she wanted to do. And for me, I wasn't really quite as sure. I was doing my music stuff and I knew like this is kind of the realm that I want to be in, but I was nowhere near the point where, I wasn't teaching like I'm doing now. I didn't have these other ways to make money in music other than doing shows and putting out CDs and stuff. Yeah, at a certain point, you're living with somebody and it's like, yeah, they're taking care of everything. And you're the musician relying on your woman to take care of everything. Like, that sucks. And it drains you, and it like wears on your soul and it wears on her, and it makes everything like just very tense, and it's not a good environment to be in. I went and got a job. I was working at Amoeba Records for a while. After working there for 4 years, I got to the point where it was like, you know what, I could either try to work my way up and manage this store in 10 years and be miserable, or I could just do what I really want to do and just throw caution to the wind. I quit. I started touring with Saul Williams, and I've been doing music ever since. I mean, if you're trying to support yourself just solely from performing and, you know, selling records, yeah, it can be pretty difficult. You gotta like diversify your hustle, basically. You know, if you make music, you can't just rely on, all right, let me try to sign with a label and get in advance and put out a record, because you're gonna start with that. If you're fortunate enough to be able to work with the label, you got to realize the label is not there to pay your bills. So you still got to hustle on your own. I'm not living solely off of selling records or performing. It's everything involved in, you know, what I do with music. If I wasn't teaching, if I wasn't doing workshops, if I wasn't affiliated with these different music companies that make gear and whatnot and able to work with them and make money with them, it would be extremely difficult for me, you know, to make a living with just music.
The biggest thing I did to get noticed was to start making videos. Video is kind of the real tool to explain things that are new. That's what we're all kind of conditioned into, is this super fast, you know, mass media, rapid editing kind of culture. And it's when I started making videos, explaining what I do in this like really open and educational way, that kind of just works. The way that the internet works. Like, the internet wants you to share information. If you get on there and share information, you'll find an audience.
I'm definitely trying to use social media and use places like SoundCloud to drive my followers and to get people listening to my music. And then also, of course, you got to be on iTunes, because a lot of people just buy their music on iTunes.
Electronic music is here to stay, as long as the power is on. As long as there's electricity, I think there's definitely going to be electronic music. At this point, everything is really electronic music, whether it's a country band or, you know, an electro house song. It's all music, and as long as it's being, you know, recorded using a computer, distributed digitally, it's all electronic to me.
So electronic music is here and it's here to stay, and I think it's only going to go bigger and bigger. We can also see today it's infused in any kind of genre we hear today. Electronic music is, you know, it's part of music today, if we like it or not.
Now it's just blown up, and over the past couple of years, especially in the US, there are so many different types of sounds that are out there right now. Even my mom is aware of, you know, Skrillex and some of these artists. It's on the radio now, and you can hear elements of it. I'm just really excited to see what happens with it and see where it goes.
I think it's so cool to see like laptops as a mainstay on stages everywhere in all kinds of bands. And if they're not on stage, they're backstage somewhere doing something. There's definitely going to be, you know, more and more people playing digital instruments and using digital tools to create recordings and videos and interactive musical things.
Quincy Jones had said something that really stuck with me. You know, he was like, all these years, all this music, all of it just uses the same 12 notes. All of it is just 12 notes. You know what I mean? It's just how people choose to use those notes and place them and what they do with them. That's really it. You got 12 options, different octaves, and with that, like, infinite possibilities.